Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Truth Will Set You Free show. I'm your host, Linda Diane Wattley, and we have a very special, powerful guest today. Her name is Terry Lyle. Hi, Terry.
Hey, darling. How you doing, Linda?
I'm excited. We made it here.
Yes, it was difficult.
Yeah. Terry is an amazing lady. She's an author. She's a radio show host, and she enjoys telling the truth. Terry.
Yes.
You also the preacher's daughter.
I sure am, and I'm also an entrepreneur. I started my own perfume line called the Unmasked Collection.
Wow, yes. How is that going?
Okay, people liking it, yes.
And also, as a preacher's daughter, when you was little, you had to go to church many, many days and hours. What was you thinking about?
Couldn't wait till it was over so I can take some of my money that I was supposed to put in the pot and go to the drugstore and get me some candy.
Hey, look, that went on for years, right?
So did. Ooh, Lord, it was long.
So as a teenager, now you're hearing the word and you're hearing the music and the spirit is high. Did that change your perspective from candy?
No, I got a sweet tooth.
Well, you have written over 10 books, right?
That is correct. And
yes.
I also ghost for other people some books. They didn't want to pay me, so I said, I'm not going to do that no more.
Right. That industry is no joke. People don't understand the difficulty of being an author.
Right. Because it takes time. You got to edit it and got to keep going over and over and over again. And then, what makes it so bad, I wrote for some ministers and they try to stiff me on my money, so it kind of left a bad taste in my mouth, because ministers, the ones you think are supposed to be the example, man, they just as roguish as everybody else is. I said, Lord, have mercy.
As a child, I was looking at you really had some serious upbringing. It wasn't just about church. It was a lot about discipline. And one of the things that tickled me was you got a couple of good whoopings there.
All the time. I always thought I was slick. I remember one time I bought some candy, those big long peppermint sticks. I put it down my blouse and it was sticking out. My mother would take a picture and say, "What's that bulge?" And I was trying to flatten it out. And so she pulled it out. So she said, "Get where I'm getting to whoop your butt." So I said, okay. I had to go to the bathroom. I slid a plate in my butt, figured that if she hit it, she'll hit the plate. And when I came out there, I'm all skinny and a big old wide round butt. She said, "What is that?" She tore me up, girl. Woo, Lord.
But the thing about it is some of the things you learned in church helped you on one of those whoopings, didn't it?
Oh, yes. This is true. This is really true. I learned that call on Jesus because, there was 4 of us, and I would go first because I was the youngest. And when I would get a beating, I'd be the first one. So she hit me, I fall and go say, "Oh, Lord." She hit me one more time, said, "Save me, Jesus." Third time, I'm flat out like I'm in the military. And I say, "Oh, Lord Jesus, help me." And so she felt like she was beating Jesus, so she stopped. And I had 3 licks, but woof, those licks stung, boy. I could feel it vibrating off my skin. But it did help me. Call on her when you need some help.
And you had a sister, am I correct? You had a sister that was younger than you and somebody had threw a rock at her or something?
You're right. My sister Jackie, she passed away. She was 5 years younger than me. And when she was about 1, my mom was taking pictures in the backyard. And her film had ran out, so she went in the house to get some more. And the little boy next door named Warren, he got mad because he thought that she wouldn't take his picture because she was just being mean. So he threw a rock at my sister's head, and my mother took her to the hospital, and Franklin Square Hospital in Baltimore, Maryland. They cleaned it up, put a bandage on it, and that was it. But that turned into a tumor, that progressively, caused a lot of surgeries that are open her head up and have surgery. They put shunts in to drain off. And that just goes to show you that back then, they wasn't doing MRIs or CAT scans, not on black kids. You know, they figured, okay, let's clean it up, put some peroxide on it, and move you on your way. And so eventually that took her life, you know.
But you kind of felt responsible?
Kind of, yeah, because, you know, by she being under me, you know, a lot of times when we outside playing on the steps and everything, my mother would say, you know, keep an eye on your sister. Or when I go to the store and buy some red hots, the candy and everything, and she wanted some, I said, I ain't giving you nothing, you know. So those kind of things, you know. And then the one day that I was supposed to watch, I was playing jacks on one step next to the other step where she was sitting. This handicapped boy, he pushed her off the step. It caused the shunt to break. You know, everything went wrong, and she passed away. And I felt like if I had been watching her, like my mother told me, instead of playing jacks on the other step, this might not have happened. So that's something I would never forget, you know, because I don't know. Did I speed up the process? Was it my fault? You know, I was a kid, you know, I was just doing like kids do. I ain't trying to babysit another child. I'm only, you know, 7 or 8, you know, come on now.
So how do you think you handled that, like in your life? Because it looked like to me you was very defensive. Like you was able to defend yourself after that with people if they came at you the wrong way. Do you think it came off of that experience?
It could have, but what it turned out more, instead of me being defensive, I became a avenger for other people. I felt like it was my responsibility to protect other people because I didn't do a good job when I was supposed to. So from this point on, anybody who's an underdog, I got their back, you know. And so not being defensive is just somebody who's being strong enough, you know, and a faith believer, knowing that whatever I got to do, God will get me through it, you know.
And you know, you was pretty solid with your foundation as a person brought up in the church. So like when you had involvement with relationships, like your first boyfriend.
Yeah, that was my ex-husband. I met him when I was 13, and we couldn't have sex because my family was real strict. My mother, man, she was crazy. Every time, you know, laundry, she was clocking when you're supposed to have your menstrual cycles, man, and you better have something in them underwear or you was going to go like, yeah, you know. So he waited until I was like 17 and a half, almost 18, before I lost my virginity. And the only reason I did that is because my brother came home and said that the other girls at school was giving it up and he gonna keep waiting on you. So it was a horrible experience. You know, I tried it one time, didn't want to do it no more. And I told him, you want some, you got to marry this. You know, it is what it is, but he was a cheat. I wish I had just stayed fast when my parents had told me, you know, just say no. And it's very important to these young people that's out there and open up their life to guys who say they love you. Love don't mean you got to give up your virginity. You hold that thing because it's something very special that God gave you to wait for your husband. You know, just don't give it away. I give myself credit. I waited 4.5 years, but I wish I would have waited longer.
And you married, and y'all end up married, right?
That's right.
He joined the Marines. He joined the Marines after you got married, right?
Right, he turned to Marine, yes.
Do you think it changed him any? Because he didn't seem like he was the same person that you actually fell in love with.
Well, I think it did change him because he was going to different countries and by himself, not with me and our daughter, you know. And, you know, when you're out there and you're in a group of people that y'all got a camaraderie, you're in the military, and when you're going out, when you got your time off, you're feeling yourself, your wife in another country. So, you know, he became a whore, you know.
So that was one aspect of a Marine. You also had another Marine that was something to deal with too.
Oh my God, you talking about Eugene. Oh my Lord, he was straight crazy. He was out of Camp Pendleton in California. And this guy has never dated a black female. So I was his first one. So this knucklehead thing, I'm gonna make a tuna casserole stuff. I ain't used to that. I'll give you some fried chicken and some collard greens, potatoes. Don't come in with that old white stuff, a beef stroganoff, you know. But anyway, he was very jealous. He was an alcoholic. I couldn't even go to the grocery store and put on eyeliner because then he would think that I'm trying to to talk to somebody. You know, he was like over the top. And he one day, he took and broke the phone up like a mobile so I couldn't call nobody. He glued the door frame of the apartment so I couldn't open the door from the inside. And we was 2 floors up in the apartment, and below the window was bushes and thorns and stuff. And one day when he left, I jumped in those bushes to escape. You know, it was straight crazy. My life was like, ooh, Lord. I made a lot of bad mistakes, you know, so, you know, you got to talk to a person for a long time before you commit yourself to live with somebody, because a lot of times the people you look at, they're going to appear to be okay because they're trying to get you to let your defenses down. So take your time, learn about their background, learn about their family, you know, see if you can talk to them, see if they stuck going crazy, because what looks good ain't always good. And I was always attracted to somebody in uniform, and that like turned me on. Ooh, uniform, built and all that. Shoot, girl, that was the worst thing in my life.
So then you end up going to California?
Yeah, I was in California when I met the guy, Eugene, when my husband cheated on me. And I was working as a correctional officer. And this one guy, I also was a counselor at a halfway house. And I knew this guy from the neighborhood. So, you know, he would always say, I'm getting ready to roll out. Roll out is a term that inmates use to mean that I'm getting ready to leave, but I'll be back, because he was in a halfway program. So anyway, before the end of the day, the feds was looking for him. They came there because he never came back. So it was considered an escape. So in the middle of the night, I got a phone call from him telling me, could I help him and everything, take him to New York. I said, I can't help you behind. Only thing I can tell you, don't go home because the feds are going to find you. So, you know, being realistic, a black person is not going to tell another black person, turn yourself in. We just don't do it like that, you know, keep it real, you know. So anyway, 5 o'clock in the morning, here, you know, I heard this banging on the door, boom, boom, boom. And I'm saying, who the is it, you know? And they said the police. I said, well, police my, you know, my derriere. All of a sudden, lights came on. The living room looked like it was daytime. And I opened the door, and they bum rushed up in there, guns and everything. I said, oh, my God. My heart was pitter-pattering and everything. They flashed his picture in my face saying, you can get 5 years for aiding and abetting. My daughter was there. And, you know, back in the day, I was smoking some marijuana. I had my tops paper on the table, my beer. And I said, oh, God, I'm going to jail. They're going to jail. I'm all panicking and everything. And they fussing and talking about my phone was bugged and everything. And my daughter, here she go, Mama, if they lock you up, can I have your jewelry? I said, girl, shut up. You know, it was traumatic. Oh, God. You know, I don't want to tell all the details because it's in my book, Broken.
And see, that's what I was getting ready to say. I just wanted to give people an idea of your journey from being a preacher's daughter to today. And when you wrote Broken, you had a reason for writing Broken.
I did.
Yeah, what was that reason?
First, it was numerical. It was my 10th book. I'm born in the 10th month on the 10th day. And in the other books I wrote, I sprinkled God in it, but I never made God the center of my life. And in this book, I made sure people knew about God, how to come to him when you're messed up in your life, because a lot of people think you got to grow up in a messed up environment. No, I came from a good environment, but you know, peer pressure, being dumb and stupid and trying to please other people and not knowing and too embarrassed to talk to the people that love me. I made a lot of bad choices, but I thank God that I didn't die, because I wanted to commit suicide a couple of times. I had a near-death experience. I was abused. I was homeless. You know, I started a swingers group. You know, I did a lot of things. And I know that now it's my fault because I made those choices. Had I lived a life of a Christian, I wouldn't have went through that. And so I implore people, you know, I don't care how bad it is, take it to God in prayer, because prayer changes things.
Right, because on your journey, you had a lot of experiences, and a lot of it had to do with your early beginnings, because you had curiosities. Like, one of your main curiosities was the sexual experience, because you saw where that affected your relationship with your husband, because you were a virgin. He had a lot of expectations on you, and that kind of stuck with you. And so when you had a chance to get out of your world, you did some searching.
Because I felt like, you know, I'm okay looking, I'm a good person. I got good morals. And I said, he cheated on me. He told me because I was inexperienced. And I'm saying, well, Dad, why don't you teach me? And so I felt like I never want to lose anybody sexually because I didn't know what I was doing. So before I left to go to Baltimore, I was a paramedic in the fire department. And because I was the only black female in that firehouse, they didn't want me there because Baltimore is very racist. It was then and still kind of undercover right now. And they thought that I didn't deserve to have a good job, you know, where some white person could have a job that I was getting paid. So they had a whole lot of porno and everything trying to intimidate me to leave. So when they had the porno, I went and got, you know, the Playboys and the Playgirls. So I could see, man, I wanted them to say, you ain't running me out of here, you know. And so then I looked in the back of the book and I saw what people wanted to have group sex and everything. I said, okay, well, let me get a white couple because people know I ain't got no white friends. So if somebody telling me, I'm going to say they lying, right? So I got this white couple over my house, man. I had marijuana. I had something to drink. I had the red lights, all the ambience because I didn't know what to expect. So the couple came over, this white couple came over, right? So I asked them, did y'all want something to drink? Want to get high? They said no, they just want to get to it. So I took them to my bedroom and everything. And I had my eyes closed because I didn't want to see what that woman was doing. I didn't want to see nothing. So they was touching me and everything because I was curious what it was like to be with a female too, right? I opened my eyes. I saw that guy's nuts. They was big like tangerines. Scared the heck out of me. I said, oh my God, stop, get up, get out of my house. I ran to the gynecologist, but you know, my life is crazy, straight crazy.
When you was working for the fire department, though, somebody was wanting to rape you. Am I correct?
Oh, that's correct. This guy named Vaughn Fox at the Medic 7 down Old Town station, there was a separate bunk just for the paramedics. And the rest of the engine house had the section for the engines and the trucks. They had a medical bureau. So anyway, this white guy came down there and I thought he just wanted to talk, right? And he said he never had any black punani before. And he gonna grab me. I said, well, you ain't getting today. And we were like going toe to toe, man, because I ain't giving this up. You know, I ain't that kind of person. And anyway, when he did that, we was tussling up in there. We was going for it. And then an engine call came for his truck. So he had to run out there because he had to get on the truck, you know, and I ran out behind him to tell somebody, look what he did. And it seemed like they was all in cahoots waiting to see if he made it. You know, didn't nobody want to help me. So, you know, I said, this is ugly. They all didn't want me there because they didn't think I deserved to have a job to take care of me and my daughter, you know, a black woman getting paid good money, you know, and I knew what I was doing. And the firefighters, they had to ride on the trucks with us as people to lift the stretcher because we was running the thing, you know, and I was an instructor, you know, and I was training paramedics and, they was just jealous, man, you know, and they was mad because I was verbal, I was vocal, I wasn't scared, you know, and when I had to lift, I went for it, man, I have got built up muscles and everything, muscles in my arm and my breast, pow, you know.
and then too, like when you was just in your survival mode, like I said, you had quite a few curiosities. And one of the things, like I noticed in the book, was you had hands-on reality of the lesbian life.
Girl, I had a friend back in the day, man, she was beautiful. She had long, pretty brown hair, you know, and back then, you know, you had sort of like a phobia of what gay people want to do. You always think gay people, they can fight, gay people, they'll just snatch you if they want to, and all these curiosities. And this woman was beautiful. I couldn't understand why she didn't want to be with a guy, but I found out later that she was raped, so she became gay. But anyway, this woman was, I'm talking about statuesque, beautiful, long hair, curly, and everybody was trying to hit on her. And she thought it was a joke because she kept trying to hit on me, and I was scared, and that kind of like tickled her because I would always kind of run away and stuff, you know. And then one day I was over her house, and she had some friends over, and they said, we're gonna take your goodies tonight. Girl, I broke out that door. I was running home. I was like, woof, woof, woof. I was going, you ain't taking nothing. They all laughed because it was a joke, but I was scared. My heart was pumping, you know. So, girl. And I had another adventure down the road, but I'm gonna save some of that for the people get it out the book.
But one of the things I was curious about, since you was actually in the midst of people that was lesbian, that being one of the issues in the church, do you have a
Yes.
place with that as far as, do you think it's something that they was born that way, or is it a choice? What do you think just by the hands-on of meeting the people that you know in that area?
Well, I used to think it was a choice, but now I think that it's a genetic thing. And the reason I say that is because when I talk to people in the lesbian and gay community, some of these people are babies, 3 years old, 5 years old. You're too young if you haven't been molested to have those cravings. So, one thing I say, the Bible says it's an abomination. And I have a brother who's gay, and I love him from life and back, and, the love don't change, and you love who you love. And I know that Christ came for everybody. And gay people was in the Bible back in the days of Lot, when the angels came to Lot's house, and the guy said, let the angels come in so we can have our way with them. And the angels made them blind, so he let Lot and his family out of the city. So, homosexuality has been around forever. So I don't know why the Bible is talking about if you're gay, it's abomination, because I'm thinking maybe it's a translation type thing, because people are being judgmental, so they write what they want to write. But, God came to help everyone. So, and that includes the gay community. And I had to learn to get out of my phobia and embrace the person, because, if I was needing blood or transfusion, if I was sick and a person was gay, had to give it to me, I'm not going to say no because they're gay. So the love don't change. My mind is more open to people are born that way, instead of me dealing with the phobias that has been put on me, but being exposed to them and knowing that they like heterosexual, they love who they love. They don't want you because you're the same sex. They want to choose somebody by the preference of what they are into. So, girl, I've been having gays, guys, everybody try to hit on this, but something, one thing I don't ever want to do, I don't ever want to mess up and go to jail, because I got too much booty. I'm going to be fighting to say that thing, you know what I'm saying?
And another thing I noticed too is you had experience with Mormons.
Mormons, oh yeah.
Yeah. The thing that got me though, they felt that Black people were actually
a curse.
Yes, and they felt justified with the racism.
Yeah, and but let me say, the Mormons, what I was doing when I moved to California, I was just searching for religious truths, because I've been in a Baptist church, a Methodist church, Church of Christ, different kind of church, trying to Pentecostal, trying to find where I need to be. Because one thing I've always known as a child, I want to get to heaven and meet King Jesus. So I I went on TV, it says Free Book of Mormon, and so I thought they were going to mail it to me. Oh no, they come past the house, tag team you, and then, they talk all that stuff. Don't you know I had to be interviewed to be accepted as a Mormon? They don't just let you just come in and be a Mormon. I had to be interviewed. And what I found was that the Mormons started the first welfare system. These people got me this fantastic job in communications at Camp Pendleton. They would bring me good food every couple of weeks, and you can even get on a list to get a car. I say, wow, my get over instance. Ooh, let me use these people for a while. You know what I'm saying? And then after a while, when I decided I didn't want to be that no more, because I wanted to grow as a person, they got mad. They sent the boys over on the bicycles to try to talk to me. I said, get out my face. Then he sent an older couple, and then the bishop going to try to tell me all that we did for you. And you did. I said, I tell you what, if you love me like you say you love me, let me make my mistakes. And then if I'm wrong, let me come back. But, they got nasty when I didn't want to stay there. And they said the mark on my forehead from Cain is a mark that the black people hold. They out their mind, please. But one thing I will give credit to the Mormons, they showed me unconditional love. And I learned how to use the word, I love you. Because in my family, it was never said. I knew my family loved me because of the things they provided, the things they did for me, but we never used that word, I love you. And so that was an unusual word for me to use. And this one lady I met when I was there named Sheila, when she first saw me there, she came and embraced me. And I said, look at this old rich woman. And she said, oh, Terry. She don't say Terry, you know. And she just kept saying, I love you. And eventually, I got used to saying it. And I was able to come back to Maryland and share that verbalization of I love you with my family to now they are not ashamed to say it. But if you look around, you'll see in a lot of Black families, they don't openly say I love you. And that's because we were raised that as long as I'm providing you clothes and food and shelter, you know I love you. But we need to say it more. So we need to feel it. You know, it makes a person feel different.
You know, I was wondering too while you was talking about the family, because I was looking at the siblings in your household, and as you grew up, it's like the bond seemed like it was difficult.
Yeah. My sister, we never got along. It's like oil and water. She always thought that she was the top dog. And anytime someone would like me or say something nice about me, she would get jealous. And I don't know why, because I've always put her on a pedestal because she's very intelligent. She's a Russian linguist. She's been in the military 23 years. I've always been impressed with the things she did. But, you know, she always thinks that she's better than everybody, you know, and we never got along. And I think one of the problems was back in the day when my ex-husband Ron was coming around, I think she wanted him, but he didn't want her because I was timid and humble, and she was out there embracing because she'd already had been sexually active, and he didn't want her because she was a loudmouth. And she always tried to say, why you want her? She got bumps on her forehead. Why you want her? She don't know how to do this. You know, she always tried to put me down, but he still wanted me because like he told me, he said, Terry, I know I messed up. He said, but I try to keep it away from you, but I wanted you as a wife, and I wanted the outside women to do the things that you wasn't willingly able to do at the time, because I wasn't into oral sex and anal sex and all this props and toys. And I said, no, I just want to get on and get off, you know.
Okay, so with the brothers though, because wasn't your brother the one to introduce you to crack?
Yes, my brother Philip. You know, but if we tell all the stories, everybody ain't want need to read the book. But yeah, he started me on that because I saw what he was doing. I said, let me try, and that's a crazy high. And I'm grateful that without any rehab or anything else, I was able not to stay hooked. You know, I went to church and got baptized, and from that point on, you know, I knew I didn't want nobody around me that was doing drugs. I didn't want cigarettes, smoking, ashtrays in my house. So God can heal you. And anybody who go on to these steps, like for whatever their addictions may be, you know, if they take it to the Lord in prayer and believe it, they don't need that. Because I'm telling you, it's been decades since I have partaken of any kind of drug, unless the doctor give me a pill for pain. But, you know, yeah, you know, God can heal you. And prayer does really change things.
Even for him, right? It changed
Yeah,
things for him too.
it changed it for him because one day he told me, he said, Terry, I'm going to be at this house, come and get me at a certain time. And when I went there, people was trying to rush me out the house, you know, because my brother had money and he was supplying the drugs. And so, you know, they were sitting around like little knuckleheads waiting for him to issue them out a rock. So anyway, it gotten to the point where they all had got paranoid. And I kept saying, where my brother at? And he was trying to get me out there. So I said, look, I tell you what, I'll shut this thing down and call the police right now. So I'm busting every door like I'm some kind of superhero. And I went from room to room to room. And I went to this one room. My brother was sitting in a corner sweating with some dirty clothes trying to hide. And he ain't hiding. And he was just so relieved when I came and got him because he thought it was a police spirit taking him to jail. So, you know, at that point, he knew that if my sister can sell drugs and do drugs, then I can change too. And he was so grateful that, you know, he got into the church, and he used to always send me these name brand purses and stuff, Louis Vuittons, you know, all these name brands, you know, just to show his appreciation. All he had to do was say thank you. I mean, because when he was hooked on that crack, man, his personality was mean and nasty and sneaky. So, you know, it alters your thinking. And I knew this is the boy that I was raised with in the same house. I know he wasn't like that. So I didn't want to give up on him.
And you didn't.
No, I didn't never give up on anybody that
No.
need a hand up.
Yeah, you're an amazing person. And another thing about that I found interesting, no matter what you was doing, God was always somewhere in the midst of your activity, even when you was dealing drugs. I thought this
Girl, let
was
me tell you,
so
I
surreal.
used to, when I was selling drugs and people didn't have any money to buy the drugs, I would make them sit down, listen to a half hour to an hour video, gospel video. And I said, I'm going to ask you 3 questions. If you get the 3 questions right, I'll give you some drugs. And so they had to focus to get the questions right. And I gave them free drugs. And even though I know it didn't mean much, in their mind, they learned something about Christ. Even though it was crazy how I did it, but they sit there and they listen because they were fiending for the drugs, that they focused and they learned 3 things about Jesus. I shared, with them. So
Yeah, I
God has
love
always been with
that.
me. Yeah.
I love that. But the whole book is really about God. Because even
Yes,
if
it
you was
is.
like train up a child in the way
The
it
way
should
he
go.
must go.
And
Exactly.
when you came to yourself, you came full force, just like when you wasn't to yourself.
Right.
But even more
And I
so.
feel like John the Baptist, I feel like John the Baptist in the wilderness. I'm not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ, and I'm bold and I'm in people's face with it. I'm not going to cower down. I want people to know I'm a child of God. Don't judge me by my walk, because I'm going to tell you how to get to him, and how you get to him is going to be the right way. Don't look at me. I'm trying daily to make my life an example, but I'm more like trying to get Moses, trying to lead somebody to the right thing. But I also want to make it there.
And you serious about it.
I am. I'm serious
It's a
about that
beautiful
thing.
thing to witness. I know it.
Mm-hmm.
You definitely serious
Yes.
about God's business.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
you had a
Because
life-changing experience that you know
yeah,
God was with you. You know it
exactly.
was not but God.
Yeah, when I was a tractor trailer instructor, I had just got rid of my students, and it was in Syracuse, New York. It was a blizzard, and I had just called my mom, and she said, "Don't take the load." I said, "I've never lost a load." And she kept saying, "Don't take it." And I said, "No, I'm going to do it because I'm just going to be careful, drive slow, la, 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 la. And I was driving on Interstate 90. And I'm telling you, I came into a wall of snow. It was like plain. And then I could see the wall of snow that I was driving into. And the exit was just like in Pennsylvania. There's an exit every 15 miles, so you just can't get off. And the snow was coming horizontally at the window. And I'm driving like 5 miles an hour. And, the truck was sliding on the ice, and the wind was pushing the trailer. And all of a sudden, I saw that trailer start to go over that ravine, and my instincts just told me I'm not trying to die like this. And I started, was steering my wheel to the road, and the 5th wheel is a connection between the tractor and the trailer. It broke off, and the trailer teeter-totted, but the tractor that I was in, it flipped over 4 times. And that first hit, oh my God, it was so intense. It was like I saw purple rain, birds. I ain't seen no life flashing by me. I saw all kind of cartoons and stuff, and every hit after that, it just felt like dump, dump, and I could feel warmth falling down my face. And I heard somebody say U.S. Expresses went over, and I knew as I was tumbling, I said I might not make it out of this, And when it finally came to a stop, I was in and out. And what I did remember, fire department was trying to cut the truck open, and one was coming from the other side, smacking me and say, "Stay with me," and it just amazes me. They cut all my clothes off and got me to the hospital, and they called my mom and told my mom, "Your daughter was in an accident. She didn't make it." They never said that she's okay, she's hurt. They said she didn't make it. And my mother freaked out, And every time I think about that, it just does something to me. But I knew after that, I started having weird dreams. And one of the dreams I was having, like I was overseas, and this lamb kept following me. And I kept saying, "Go away, go away. I'm trying to go somewhere else." And when I think about it later, that was the Lamb of God trying to be with me, So I've been through some stuff, and I know God has kept me here, because I need to tell a story, because a lot of people are too embarrassed or ashamed to be honest with the truth. And I don't care, Linda, I don't care about being embarrassed. I got to be real with it and tell people what I've been through, because we all got a story to tell. A lot of people want to hide it because of the way they look today, but they don't want to be honest. And that's why so many kids are messed up. They have nowhere to turn because no one is willing to be honest and say, this is what I've been through. And if I can do anything before I leave this earth, I want to share Jesus and bring somebody to Christ. That's my mission,
And you do.
I'm sorry.
I love you. You know I love you because of your truth. Because you are so truth. That's why I wanted you on The Truth Will Set You Free. Because you are truth. And it's like, if you can't handle the truth, don't even mess with Terry.
I know.
Don't mess with Terry if you can't handle the truth. And Terry.
Yes, darling.
You are on The Truth Will Set You Free show. Give us a truth that will set us free.
Yes, Lord.
Give us that truth, sister.
Yeah.
Give us a truth, Terry.
Yeah.
Give us a truth.
Yeah, I want everybody to understand that nobody has been so low that they can't get up. You just got to believe and stand up. Because once you hit rock bottom, there's nowhere else to go. Man can't fix it. Christ is the only one who can fix it. And if you believe it, you'll see your life turn around day by day, but you got to stay in the fight. Don't give up, because if you commit suicide, you can't make it to heaven. It's in the Bible. It's written. It's not my words. It's God's words. So just hang in there. If you change the people that you're with and change the things you're doing, you'll see a change in your life.
Amen. Beautiful. And this book, Broken, I suggest everybody get this book because it's so transparent. It shows you how you can, just like you said, from naive to nasty, but from naive to holy.
That's right.
Righteousness, glory.
Right. That's right.
Because you are serious about your walk with God and you share it daily.
Yes.
Because anytime you talk, if I hear your show and I'm supposed to be talking, I don't want to talk. I want to hear what you have to say. Because it's so profound, uncensored, real. That's how Jesus was. Now, thank you so much for sharing your soul with us today.
Oh, you're welcome, darling.
I knew I was going to enjoy you. I knew I was going to be blessed. You notice I took my time. I didn't want to miss anything.
Well, bless your heart.
You know it. You know I know. Glory be to God. Amen.
Yes. Amen.
Yes. And one thing you said, we have more yesterdays than tomorrow.
No, I said yes. I said make today count, because you'll see more yesterdays than tomorrow. People used to say here today and gone tomorrow, but now it's here today and gone today. So make today and yesterday's count, because your future is not guaranteed. Your present is a blessing that God has given you.
Praise God. Thank you so much for spending time with us today. Hope you'll come back. I hope you'll come back.
I will, darling.
Take care.
Take care, baby. Bye.
Bye-bye.